My story, you see, is a book with only one page. It's a very long page, granted, filled with tiny, spidery script that crawls from one edge to the other, but the page never turns. I am stuck here in the middle of a sentence that began centuries ago and shows no sign of ever finding its full stop. People try to guess my age. They look at my face, unchanged since the last king named George sat on the throne. They see what they want to see. Some say 25, others whisper 30. They are all wrong. The truth is, I've stopped counting. What is the point of counting the rings of a petrified tree? They say time is a river. For me, it is a still and silent lake. I am a single, unmoving stone at its bottom. Currents of decades flow over and around me, polishing my edges but never shifting my position. I watch the world reflected on the water's surface, distorted and shimmering. Fashions bloom like strange, colourful water lilies, then wither away. Wars rage like tempests, churning the surface into a frenzy, only to settle back into a glassy calm. I have seen empires rise from dust and crumble back into it, and through it all I remain. A silent observer, a secret keeper, a man who remembers the taste of tea when it was a new and exotic thing. The frustration is a quiet, creeping thing, not a grand, theatrical rage, a low, persistent hum like a faulty wire hidden in a wall. It is the feeling of being a photograph while everyone else is a motion picture. They laugh, they cry, they grow old, they leave. Their stories have beginnings, middles, most importantly, ends. Mine just continues. There is a particular kind of loneliness that comes from outliving not just people, but the very memories of them. I am a library of ghosts. Sometimes, late at night, their whispers are the only company I keep. This body, this vessel, is a clever deception. It breathes, it eats. It can even feel the sting of a paper cut, but it does not age. It does not scar in any meaningful way. It is a costume I can never take off. I have tried, in darker moments, to force an ending. I have stood on the precipices of high places. I have walked into the paths of roaring machines. The world, it seems, simply refuses to let me go. It knits my bones back together and seals my skin without a trace, as if to say, not yet. Your chapter isn't finished, but it never gives me the next line. Then came her. She was not a lover, not in the way the world understands it. She was a light. She had a curiosity that burned brighter than any I had ever seen, a mind that saw the wonder in the mundane. She saw the puzzle in me and did not run. She delighted in it, her presence. The first new sentence on my single, endless page, and then the darkness came for her. The light in her eyes began to dim. A shadow clung to her, a coldness unrelated to weather. I recognized it. I had seen it before, in the trenches of the Somme, in the plague-ridden streets of Florence. It was the scent of despair, the calling card of things in the cracks of the world. Demons, not pitchforks, not silly red suits, things made of regret, things made of fear. They fed on her soul, trying to snuff out her light. I knew what I had to do. For the first time in centuries, I had a purpose beyond observation. My eternal, unchanging life had been preparation for this moment. If the world would not let me die, I would use this curse to walk where the living cannot. I would descend, follow the whispers back to their source. I would go to hell itself, not as a damned soul, but as a trespasser, a burglar in the devil's house, to steal back what was mine, to steal back her light. The journey down was not through fire, brimstone. It was worse. A path paved with forgotten memories, silent screams. The air grew thick with the weight of every hope that had ever died. Silence absolute, a heavy blanket smothering thought, a place of ultimate endings, the final full stop at the end of every story, and I, the man with no ending, walked through it like a blasphemy. I was a paradox, a living thing among the utterly dead. My destination, the throne room of the king of this desolate domain. He was not a monster, he was perfectly, terribly beautiful, his face a mask of ancient weariness and profound intelligence. He looked at me, and his eyes held the weight of every sin ever committed, every secret ever kept. He knew me, of course, he knew what I was, and he smiled a slow, chilling smile that did not reach his eyes.
The one who cannot leave.
You have something of mine? He gestured, and in the air before me a small, flickering light appeared, trapped in a cage of shadows. It was her essence, her spirit, her joy. It was weak, guttering like a candle in a gale, but it was still there.
She has such a bright soul. They burn so beautifully before they go out. A pity to let this one fade away unused.
The demons, his collectors, writhed like smoke at the edges of the throne, eager for their prize. The battle was not one of swords or fists, it was a battle of will, a negotiation over a soul. He wanted me. My unique, unending existence was a novelty, an anomaly he wished to add to his collection.
Stay, and she can go, a permanent fixture in my gallery of oddities. You will be famous here, the man who never ended.
It was a tempting offer, an escape from the endless, turning maze of my life, an end to the boredom, an end to the loneliness. But then I looked at the light, her light. And I saw the life she had yet to live. No, and in that moment I fought. I poured all the centuries of my loneliness, my frustration, my quiet endurance into a single protective shield around her light. I confronted him not with power, but with love. A stubborn, undying, protective love. The devil, who deals in bargains and despair, had no defense against a gift freely given. He recoiled, his beautiful face twisting in disgust, the cage of shadows shattered. Victory was not a trumpet blast, it was a quiet release. One moment I was in the kingdom of ash, the next I was back in my dimly lit apartment. The smell of rain on the pavement outside my window. The air was no longer heavy with despair. I felt light. The light I had rescued was gone from my sight, but I knew where it was. It had returned to its rightful owner. I walked to the window and looked out at the glistening streetlights. The world seemed a little brighter, the colors a little sharper. I saw the light return to her eyes. I heard her laughter, brighter and more defiant than ever. I saw her live and love and grow. She never knew the battle that had been fought for her in the silent, ashen realms below. She simply knew that one day the shadow had lifted, and that was enough. My secret was my own. A private victory in a war no one else knew was being waged. My single page was still not turning, but a beautiful illustration had been drawn upon it. Eventually her story, like all the best ones, reached its end. It was a good end, a peaceful one, surrounded by the lives she had touched, the love she had created. Her light did not go out, it simply changed. It rose, leaving the worn-out vessel of her body behind, and ascended. And I, in a twist I never saw coming, ascended with it. My long, long watch on earth was over. The rules that had bound me to the ground, that had kept me in that unturning labyrinth, were finally broken. I am immortal in a new way now, not stuck, but boundless. I am not in heaven, not exactly. I am in the place between, the silent space above, a perch among the stars. From here I can see everything. The world turns below me, a beautiful, chaotic marble of blue and white. The currents of time still flow, but I am no longer a stone at the bottom of the river. I am on the bank, watching it all with a newfound sense of peace. My loneliness is gone, replaced by a profound connection to the story I helped save. She is here too, not as a person but as a constellation, a pattern of starlight that shines with a gentle, steady warmth. Her light, the one I journeyed into hell to protect, is now a permanent part of the celestial tapestry. I am its keeper, its eternal guardian. And if you ever feel a sudden, unexplainable warmth on a cold night, a sense of being protected from a shadow you cannot see, it might just be me. The man from the page that never turned, making sure the light stays on, always.